Just doing a clean up on this Cosmos S case. I got part of a bundle a while ago, maybe a month ago. I won this for £1 and I had to go pick it up. It had a nice EVGA 790 board on it. That's the 790i, board, which was from EVGA. The board's a little bit, I wouldn't say flaky, but I wouldn't trust it. The case overall isn't in terrible condition, just needs a little bit of touch up, and I'm just cleaning it from dust. This case has a little bit of sentimental value for me because I actually had this case when it first came out, and I'll be honest with you, I remember being a bit disappointed with it in a way that it was so big and it looked better on the photos than it did in real life. That's something I remember, but now I'm kind of appreciating more. I'm just going to try to see if I can restore this case to something. Alright, so I have 4 of these fans, which I've taken from other systems, which all happen to be Coolermaster fans. I think 2 are in his system when I got it, so I'm going to fill up the 3 at the top here, put one there. There's probably I think this fan at the front is a red LED one, which is fine. The system is clearing up very nicely, actually. I do have a lot of fondness for this case, but I remember why I didn't like it now when I was younger. This thing's literally a dust trap. This thing gets dust everywhere, and it does scratch very easy. I don't know if you can see right there. There's a scratch there, and this thing's just peppered with scratches everywhere. Not so much as in it would look horrendously bad. I fixed a clip in here because what happened is there's a little retaining clip thing here, and when I got this case it actually had sellotape to hold it in, but you just need to press those in a little bit, the plastic, and there we go. Just press those in a little bit and it works fine. And I think if they do eventually break, I think you can buy them off eBay for really cheap. I am missing about 2 of these panels, which would have been nice to have those panels, but never mind. I'm sure I'll find them on another system or eBay into the future. Plans for this case, I'm thinking I'm going to put the cheapest hardware I have into it. Literally the stuff which, I don't know, the nastiest hardware I have, which I didn't even want, and see if it goes into this nice case. I think that's the plan for this one. Alright guys, things kind of progressed. I do apologise about the shaky camera, but that is pretty much going to be how it's going to be, unfortunately, because I'm not a professional YouTuber. I do have a tripod, but I don't know how to set it up. Yeah, you get the idea. So back on the Cosmos S, and I decided to put a PC build in it, and it's going to have the parts which have costed me virtually nothing. There are a few things which I'm definitely going to have inside the system for certain. For example, this Tek 4850, which I bought for almost nothing. Yeah, this is only a 512 megabyte card, so it probably won't be able to play much, but it's going on to this motherboard, which I'll go to in a moment. I haven't actually tested this. I actually bought it for a £5 and never tested it, because I'm a bit silly. I have my Freezer Pro 7, and this thing cost me less than, I think, £2, because it's part of a bundle, which actually included this motherboard originally. And then I've got 2 hard drives. I got a Barracuda, a Barracuda 1 terabyte drive, which has got a slightly dodgy power connector. I don't know if you can see that, slightly broken. That's going there. Also a 640 gig SATA drive from Western Digital. Those would be the storage drives. I haven't decided about SSDs yet, which one. I've got one in mind. It's literally some piece of crap king spec. That's the bracket for the for that. I've got 2 sets of RAM here. I've got 4 gigs of XMS2, or really fancy XMS2. I've got the Dominator stuff here. And there we go. So I'm leaning towards Dominator RAM, but I also kind of like this RAM as well. I'll see how I feel. That's not the processor which is going into it. This is a Pentium E8200 2.2. I actually just left it in there as a way to protect the pins. And this is one of my favourite motherboards. This is a P5Q-E board. And the thing I like about this board is that it's a P45 board. It's very, very reliable and rock solid. It has all solid capacitors on it. And this board, I don't want to jinx it because I probably will. 9 times out of 10, it just works. My only issue with the board is its crossfire. And I don't really have that many crossfire cards, if I'm being frank and honest. So yeah, this Impulse build, I'm going to chuck in one of my favourite boards. I do have two other boards I could use. I could use a 680i board, or I could use a 790i board, because I actually have two of those. At the moment, I'm just considering what CPU to use. I'm thinking a dual core. So I probably will be using this thing with Ever Focus. Yeah, I'll just tell you what it is. It's an E8400 for my little stash of CPUs. I could put a Core 2 Extreme in this, or Q6600. I seem to have infinite numbers of them, but I think this would be great because I only bought this thing for 50p. So the cost of the build so far is literally almost nothing. I mean, that case cost me less than £1 because I bought it for the motherboard, and it came with a Blu-ray drive, which I'm now chucking back in because they're over here. I've got a Blu-ray drive and SATA drive. So altogether, this system should be quite interesting. This will be literally like a 2000 and I'd say 8 PC build that this is going for. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So the CPU is in, and this will never focus apparently. Focus. Anyway, as we're waiting for that thing to do its thing, I got the SSD. It's this cheap King spec, which I bought many years ago for a project and pretty much never used. I used it as maybe a storage drive. This will be great because if it breaks, I don't care. And the power supply, which unfortunately is missing cables, is this monster HX850 watt. I wish it had more power cables, and I used a power supply tester on it today. My faithful Antec one, it says it's working. And to be fair, it's Corsair, so it probably is working fine. Naturally, you should always be careful of those kind of things, and shouldn't use it with a system which you're really concerned about losing. Still on the fence about which sets of RAM to use. I'm leaning towards this really cheap, nasty stuff because I got this part of a set. Oh, mind you, I'm a bit disappointed as one of the sticks is dead. I mean, I've got 6 of these, and one of them is dead. I mean, the one I bought, which is dead, I bought for 10p the other day, so not too bad. But I'm just rambling on now. Sorry it's a bit dark, but this is the test system. As you can see, I've got the core on, I've got the XMS2 RAM in there, power supply is all connected up, and the thing I love about this board, onboard power controls. So let's hopefully see a post. It's very quiet. Huh. Is it posting? It doesn't seem to be posting. Huh. This is going to require some investigation. Probably going to be RAM or something. It's always RAM. Investigation. One stick removed. And now we have a post. Question is one of these dead? Or did it just need to be reseated? Actually, as I'm in here, I've got the keyboard at a slight angle, so it's a bit hard to see. Hardware monitor. Let's see how hot. 29 degrees. For the CPU, that's pretty decent with no additional cooling. Bit annoyed because I had to move the cooler because I was going to have it facing that way. Just something about it, I just like it being that way. But the heat sinks were fouling with this one, so that was a bit annoying. Anyway, here comes the test of putting in more than one stick of RAM and seeing if it still posts. Hopefully it's just a reseating will fix this. Alright, anyway, here's the next day, and yeah, this has progressed a lot. A few things I've learned: that this stupid adapter has to be part of the case, otherwise the power button does not work, which is fun. I forgot about that. Remember why I didn't like this case very much? It's because it literally is a dust trap, but it is literally enormous, this case. Sorry about the cough. Yeah, it's running now for a couple of hours, and yeah, I'm really happy with this system. The cooler is more than sufficient for the system. The E8400 on this one, I don't think this E8400 has been well looked after in the past, because this one is not overclocking as well as I thought it would. I do have another one, but I just can't be bothered to swap it over, as I've overclocked it to 3.6 gigahertz, which this chip is more incapable of reaching 4, and it will get into 4, but it's not stable enough for my liking, so it will crash and it won't be stable like I want it to, because I want the system to be relatively stable. The system plays games very well, which I'll show in a moment. The RAM is currently at 900-ish megahertz because of the overclock. So this RAM is rated at 1066, but I don't think this RAM can really handle it anymore, so a little bit lower is better. This graphic card here, this, I think it's called Tek or whatever it is. This GPU is absolutely fine. When I first got it, because it just said on the listing for it, 4850, 512. I thought it was going to be like a Sapphire or an Asus card, and I get this random Tek thing. I thought, ah, crap, what did I get? But this one's actually not a bad graphic card. It's very quiet. It's very stable. I've overclocked it to the maximum, so its core clock is at 700 megahertz. That's as fast as that one will go. The drives are all here. The 1 terabyte, which the broken power connection is plugged in. Just never take out the power connection ever again, otherwise this drive will be broken. We've got the 640, which is now being used as the primary drive, because when I was trying to install Vista, I know people don't like Vista. I'm sure people will list many reasons why they don't like it, but with a system like this, Vista works fine. If you put this on the Black Lotus Vista, it will not be fine. But this system is more than capable of running Vista. But anyway, Vista or any other operating system just did not want to install on that SSD. I left it in there because I just can't bother to remove it. There is a few vibrations from the top, from those fans, because I only put 2 screws in, because that's the screws I could find at the moment. I've got lots of screws inside the screw bin, but I just couldn't be bothered to remove them. Power supply is fine. The system, apart from the rattles, which is coming all the way from up here, is absolutely silent. I haven't put the side panel on, and I'm in 2 minds about plugging in the fan for the 200mm on the side here, but I'm just looking at it. I don't think I've even got somewhere to plug it in, if I'm honest. I have to get a little fan splitter from my little stockpile. So yeah, we'll go into benchmarks in a moment, and we'll see how well this system actually does. Alright, so the system is running the game right now, Oblivion. It's running it at maximum settings, and I'm getting about 50 frames a second on top of this house. And as you can see over here, I'm getting about 45 to 50. It does fluctuate. And you can see that it's hovering around with the usage. Let's go to somewhere else. Let's go to, where's that ill omen place? I can't find it now. No, that's not it. There it is. Ill omen. There we go. Getting a solid 45 frames a second. I am doing it in third person, so if I go in the first person, the frame rate should shoot up like it did. So yeah, we're getting about 70 frames a second. It is spread out. GPU's not being fully maxed out, but that's just Oblivion for you. And if we just summon a skeleton, yeah. So again, this game is not well optimized, but this system plays it very well. So yeah, this thing is all on maximum settings. So, oh yeah, this TV has a weird resolution. It's just above 720p. But as you can see, everything's on apart from AA, because I've got, what is it, HDR? Yeah, I've got HDR on instead, because apparently it looks better. Anyway, let's go into the next game. So, yeah, another Bethesda game. 60 FPS. See, it's maxing out. This is it at maximum settings. And it doesn't really dip that much. This is fully using the CPU. So yeah, it's not bad actually. I'm quite impressed with the performance, because this would have been brand new when this PC would have been relevant. So let's get one more game and see what's going on. Next we have BioShock 1, and as you can probably see, we're getting absolutely amazing frame rate. We are literally maxing out the graphic card completely, even the CPU. So I don't think these are, what's the nice way of putting it? They're not bottlenecking each other at all. I think this is actually a nice balance between CPU, GPU. 160 frames. Still going about 160 to 150 frames. It's just dipped down because I said that, because it's got to prove me wrong. But yeah, and this game is maxed out at the moment. Has all the DirectX 10 goodies. I'm more surprised the system could play Metro 2033. This little system is impressing me a lot.
We'll have to get through the military outpost to reach the surface.
Yeah, I'm only getting about 35 frames.
Open the gate, I'll grab her.
Wow. I mean, look at that. 52 frames. This thing's set to high. It could be set on very high, but outdoors, it just literally just cripples it. Goes down into, well, not into the teens. When I have it on high, it goes into the low 30s doing high action scenes. So yeah, this cheap ass system can play Metro. I am very, very impressed, and hopefully I'll find more cheaper parts to the future, which will upgrade the Cosmos system. Alright, welcome to the end of the video. Let's just have a little talk about the system. I wasn't really originally planning to build this system, but I had these parts and I was organising my parts, and I thought, wait a minute, I've got enough here for an authentic 2008 PC, which would have been something which someone would have built. This would have been mid to high end. Everyone remembers the Q6600, but not many people remember the E8400, which came afterwards, because there was a big debate about games only using 1 to 2 cores, and people saying you're going to need a future-proof to get a quad core, even though by the time it was using quad cores, you would have updated to a X58 or a Sandy Bridge system at the time anyway. So this system here it shows the greatness of the Core 2 Duo, the way that I overclocked mine, which is probably a really tired chip, because these were all virtually overclocked. So mine only reached 3.6 with it being stable. I got up to 4.2, but it was not stable at all, and games would crash continuously. The main game mainly being Oblivion, because I find that if your system runs Oblivion well and doesn't crash, then your system's quite stable. And that's how I used Prime 95, and I also used hardware monitor to monitor temps. The temps were never a problem in the system. I think the only issues the system really had was memory. I think memory is a bit of a flaky thing, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm a little bit sad I can't overclock the 4850 even further, or that it wasn't a 1 GB model. And overall, the system is really nice. It reminds me of the system I would have had, which was very similar. I actually used to own this case. Apart from, I had a 750i board from EVGA, and I had a Q700, and I think I had an 8800 GT or GTS. I actually owned. Sorry, it wasn't one of those. It was a 9800 GTX. That was the thing. So yeah, that is the thing. Very happy with the system, and I know that I have a lot of shaky cam footage. I'm really sorry, I'm not a professional YouTuber. This is just me having fun with my PC builds. And the greatest thing about this PC build is that it didn't cost much at all. The case was part of a £1.20 auction bin, which I should put up here. And I only bought it because of the motherboard. It was a 790i EVGA board. The CPU cooler came with the motherboard, and I bought RAM, CPU, motherboard, CPU. I don't know. I bought 4 things with it, and all of it cost me a tenner. So each bit was literally £2.50. So the motherboard was £2.50. The CPU cooler was £2.50. The RAM was, some of it was only 10p. I can't remember how much I paid for the L sticks, but they were dirt cheap as well. The GPU was a £5, so 5. Hard drives, one hard drive was 2, another one was 2, and the SSD, I don't remember. It was just something I bought for a project like 6-7 years ago. I never used it. Power supply came with another graphic card, so I just took the power supply anyway. And the fans, I've just accumulated these Coolermaster fans, so I'm buying because what happens is, what I do normally is on Facebook, I literally look for half-built projects or stuff which has been partly gutted, and they just seem to accumulate these bits which I didn't want. DVD drives were free, and the Blu-ray drive was free. So yeah, this system is probably one of my favourite systems. I just called the system the Cosmos. So hopefully I call the project the Cosmos Project or something. Anyway, I have rambled enough. If you did like this video, let me know in the comments. I would really like to know what you didn't like, what you did like, and that'd be wonderful. Anyway, have a good day.